First and foremost, I think that as South Africans, we entrust people to go into public service to look after our interests. South Africans are, in the main, fairly religious, want to really see honest people and ethical people go into public service. So when you betray their trust at that level with the limited resources, truly, it's not just that it is criminal, it is frankly unethical conduct that should be dealt with in the swiftest manner. I welcome Minister Macpherson's charges, but I would urge also Minister Macpherson to do everything possible to have the CEO not suspended, fired. And that ultimately it has become a culture in public service when people feel like their only fear is to manage public relations rather than law enforcement, that the police must act urgently to arrest the CEO and the spokesperson, not only for attempted bribery, but will remember that this bribery, it follows on from the allegations on the tender for over 800 million rands on the oxygen tender that were put in place. So now is the time to act. We are all as South Africans sick and tired of corruption. We are sick and tired of people getting away with it. And the only thing they have to fear is media. Now is time that we see people, in fact, get arrested. And when the minister appears before our committee later on, in due course, we will then request that if there are any other members in the Public Works Department who are involved in acts of corruption, those also must be dealt with.
That's just a question how many of these kinds of cases happen behind closed doors, because we know corruption is just so widespread in this country, especially in public services as well. But when we take a look at your oversight role and what is next when it comes to parliamentary action, what can South Africans then expect?
Well, crucially, as I have already indicated, we will invite the Department of Public Works to come to the committee to account really for the disbursements of finances that have been put in there. The second difficulty is that the IDT and many of these agencies who employ over 170,000 people happen to fall outside often the parliamentary accountability mechanism. You find agencies in many ministries that add no value, create these boards that get well rewarded, and at the end of the day, they end up in a space where acts of corruption like this take too long to investigate. So what we are asking is, as part of the next phase of the spending reviews that we've undertaken, that the Minister of Finance has committed to, is that it mustn't just be assessing whether money is going to the right places. It's also assessing the efficacy of these agencies. And so one of the things that I've been calling for is the shutting down of many of these agencies. I do not believe they add value. I believe they become employment hubs.